We're live.
Boom.
Welcome to episode number 6 of On the King's Dime. It is Sunday night. We're up late. It's time to get a bit
Yeah.
rowdy.
Post children bedtime.
Yeah, I know it's good. We had a bit of struggle getting the kids to bed tonight, but that's not going to stop us coming live and discussing the game against. I'm blanking here, and I've got it on the screen. LA 36ers. For some reason, I want to say the Taipans, but we already wrapped the Taipans game. This will be the 36ers wrap, and we will also do a little bit of a preview of the Breakers doubleheader
Back
we
to
got
back.
this weekend. Yeah, round number 3. Two from 2-0 to start the season. What are your thoughts so far on the Kings, Andrew?
Will Weaver's plans are far superior to that of last year.
What are your thoughts in general on Will Weaver? Let's start there. Will Weaver, what's your so far takeaway?
Assertive but controlled, whereas Andrew Gaze just loses his shit all the time. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. Just you could see him on the sidelines, just faces. He's almost like he's got a bit of Spurgy. He's just kind of inappropriate faces for team morale, I think. But
Is
I
this
think
Will
Will
Weaver
Weaver's
or is this? Yeah, no, you're talking about Gaze.
Gazy. Yeah.
Just wanna
But I
make
think
sure.
Will Weaver's a true professional, and I definitely could see him coaching NBA in the coming years. I think he's, from what he's done, very short period of time with his team, and with an undersized power forward, smart move. Phenomenal. Put up 100 points with a lot of trash time in there, but good depth players. So very excited to continue the journey.
Yeah, so I was a little bit worried at the start of the season. Well, not worried, but I was thinking the one way it could kind of go south is if like Will Weaver's what he's implementing was too deep for this team. Like it's not an advanced league in terms of how detailed X's and O's we are as a unit. So that was the only thing I would have been worried about. I still look at him in interviews and just how deep and concerning and how deep I think of the way he talks. He's just always talking about the human element and stuff like that. I'm like, man, he's just such a cool dude as well. But yeah, that was the only thing. I think I'm gonna go into the videos probably over the next few weeks when we bed down a few more games. But the things he's doing with this team utilizes the team so much better. Like it's a better way to play. We're not getting bogged down in the offense. There's a lot of guys transitioning and playing faster style. We're putting up more threes. I mean, the threes aren't dropping. They'll eventually drop, but
They will.
we've got
But
so
I
many
think
ball handlers. That's the biggest takeaway for me.
that's the biggest takeaway. And I think he's getting those players. He's giving a lot of space to drive to the basket. There's not a lot of high weaving. There's a lot of double screens, strong screens. None of this moving through screens, none of this setting early screens and moving through to try and do weak side pick and rolls that never really came off. It's a lot of just strong screens, double screens, getting in, opening up lanes for guys to drive. And you see guys like Moller finishing really well.
Yep.
Played exceptionally well. Newley just getting to the basket. A lot of these guys just getting the basket with ease. Obviously, Casper Ware doing his thing, but playing undersized guys in the right positions, in the right rotation. It just seems that we've just gotten really, really lucky with scouting with jae'sean Tate, who's 6'4", feasting on dudes that are 6'9". Just what a beast.
It's a bit of a shrewd signing, I think, in terms of the NBL. A bit of luck on one side, as well as, Will Weaver's got the connections over in the US, so he's obviously scouted. They've scouted him, brought him in. And then the other side, you've got to be lucky to get an ex sort of college player who could probably be a pro in the NBA, but just isn't for whatever reason. You got to have a little bit of an element of luck to be able to bring someone like that from Europe and have a purpose. I think he just fits the bill perfectly because he's got horizontal size. He spaces the floor well. He's just a beast too. I said it in last week's episode where it doesn't matter what's happening in the game. He just plays at 100%. No matter what, it's just 100% all the time. And I felt like that was one of the things that was lacking last season, was to dig ourselves out of a hole. We needed something, and it wasn't always there. But it feels like everyone just takes he takes the lead, and everyone just gets in behind him and follows him. His hustle. It's so good to watch. And you touched on Moller. he had like a fantastic game. I think at the start of the season, I remember sort of saying, like, I don't know where he's going to fit. Like, I don't know what he's going to be doing. His scoring still isn't the greatest, but defensively, man, he
Oh
fits
yeah,
this
man.
team perfectly.
Couldn't be happier with that kind of depth in your roster, where you can go to Mola in that 4 position, and he gives you size, strength, and hustle. A lot of hustle. Always getting back on defense. I think he made a really silly offensive play, but he got back and stole the ball straight back. That's what you want to see in your deep bench rotations. You can go to guys early. I think he's playing Kickett in the right positions as well. Kickett's stretching out to the 4, 5, 7, 8 o'clock, getting in the right positions to shoot the ball, as opposed to let's get Kickett into the post early. He's not a great passer of the ball, so it's just like you are a stretch 5. That's what you do. Don't try and play inside. Don't try and be fancy. He's using him at the 5 a lot, I think, because of Jordan Hunter's inexperience in the professional game. But he played a lot of minutes on Friday night, and he played really well as well. So
It was Kickett.
yeah,
Yeah, so 18 minutes, 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. That's the biggest thing this team now has. That power forward spot where, okay, you can manage Kickett basically because we got that power forward who has the horizontal spacing to say, okay, you can just leak out. You don't have to do everything on the glass, Kickett. And last year he was getting exposed. Got exposed a little bit in the Taipans game on the glass, but it's against, Nate Jarwai and a very sort of lengthy and springy Taipans outfit. But yeah, it's slotting him in perfectly, and he's allowed to shoot the ball, and he's got a green light to shoot the ball. I feel like last year maybe he didn't have the green light. This year it looks like any time he's in any position, he's like, I'm letting it fly, everyone. And that spurs this team on too, I think. It's the way we're set up is letting it fly.
Gazy was almost that kind of style of players. Like, you have to almost be at the rim putting the ball in the hole for you to there's a lot of rotating out and bad shot clock choices, whereas this team just like, all right, early in the shot clock, fly, get back on defense, hustle, quick game. When you got 4 ball handlers, you can play a much faster game than last year as well. And you don't even see Bogut bringing up the ball that much because you've got guys like Ware, Tate, Lazada when he gets on the floor, Lish. Lish is such an unassuming guy. Awesome game as well. Played so well defensively.
Didn't necessarily put up the stats. Kevin Lish, he only had 9 points, 3 of 6 from the field, all 3-point attempts. But that's also another thing where it doesn't feel like anyone on this team ever, you don't look at this team and go, oh, we're going to just have to devolve into somebody doing something to make this team tick. We did that a little bit last year. Randall got sucked into it. Bogut was sucked into a little bit of that. Kevin Lish, by the end of the season, was just doing everything. I feel like him, Newley, who also played fantastically well, they all look more reserved. They look fresh and not playing super frantic, not super, I have to do everything, I have to do this.
But not also not playing 36 minutes a game.
Yeah, true.
Just, 28 minutes, Bogut 13 minutes, although he looked a bit injured, but, came off.
He didn't play pretty much a lot of the second half.
He looked at one point.
He came out 6:59 to go in the 6:59 to go in the third. He came out and we didn't see him again. So
didn't need to. We'd already won the game by that stage.
True. That looks like it might be a little bit of a niggly injury or something like that. I hope that's not too bad, because it's not necessarily like the team's performing quite well in that respect, but it's for him in general. It still looked like coming into the season he wasn't 100%.
It's not 100%. He had a massive Boomers campaign that would have taken game every 2 days. That's ridiculous for a guy that his age. It's a short campaign but very dense. Even in the NBA, you don't play that much, and he played heavy minutes.
And he re-rolled that ankle in preseason too. Yeah. So hopefully, I don't think this team has enough to not play him. If you know what I mean. If you miss 2 or 3 games, you'd have to just go, well, look, he misses 2 or 3 games, that's it, type of thing. We've got Didi to come back. We haven't seen Didi yet this season in the regular season. So it'll be interesting to see how Bogut. I think this team, everywhere you look, this team feels like it doesn't matter that this guy's not at absolute 100% redlining it here. Whereas last season there was a lot of players where you're just like, man, these players are playing their absolute limits. what's going to happen. Like, not necessarily injuries, but you could tell there was like, like a ties didn't meet the road type of thing. Teams are like our team is sort of struggling in certain games, but I feel like this team's just always like, here's the task at hand. All right, let's try and solve this task. Let's do it. And blowouts, man, blowouts. We had a blowout finally. How long has it been since we had a blowout where we could play garbage minutes, trash minutes, as you like to call it?
Trash time. Yeah, long time. And it's good to see, Quiney, and even someone from the Shire, Lachlan Hutchison, I think.
Hutchinson, yeah, 2
Yeah.
minutes. Attempted a field goal.
He did. Good on him. He's like a in development signing. So there's 3 development signings in the Kings team now. That's local Sharks boy down in Sutherland. So good to see him get some game time.
Good stuff.
It's good to see Will Weaver going to his depth.
Yeah,
that's something
sure.
Never saw Gaze do ever. Ever. Much nicer to see deeper rotations. You have to give guys less minutes to get through the season. That's how it works.
So what was your thoughts on Jerome Randall returning? The reception that he got was pretty good, not too bad.
Yeah, no, look, he was a great player. He's still a good player. Probably a little bit too ISO scoring machine for the new setup, and I think that's really why he didn't fit the team and they didn't have him back. Although, why would you not take Casper, where you essentially got 1-2 in the MVP rankings from last year?
Yeah.
But it's good to see him playing back in Australia.
Sure.
Played okay. Didn't have the best game. But that Adelaide,
they did him dirty.
Adelaide,
no number on his outfit, on his jersey.
Really?
No, he didn't have a number.
That early on, Jesus. Yeah. That Adelaide team without Wiley kind of is missing a bit of a spark. Yeah.
Even last year, it was not like, it wasn't great. I think they had Delion at the start of the season that just torched Randall in 2 games, and then he just basically was terrible for 7 games and then left. They look like if Illawarra didn't have like Emmett Nah and Greta, and then like last year they had Jordan Jet, like they look like they need a player like that. Another couple of players in there. I can't remember. It was Kay was one of them. He played quite well off the bench, and then I can't remember who the other guy with the like mop top, like the Jamal Idris.
Yeah.
He was just in foul trouble the entire time. Just every time he came on, it was just fouling people. And I think a lot of that was just down to jae'sean Tate, who was just an absolute monster. He had an absolute monster game.
Yeah, mammoth game. But that's what happens when you have a 6'8" against a 6'4" guy in the paint, pump faking. You're going to clip him, and smart play. Although he didn't get to the line, he's not a great free throw shooter. He gets guys out of the game quickly.
6 of 8 in this game, not bad.
It's very good. That's a good night out. But getting guys out of the game pretty quickly is what he's in there for, and definitely showed.
So we should talk about jae'sean Tate. Obviously, he was fantastic. Do you feel like there was a lot of love, like, oh, you played really well, how good is this, you're undersized, blah, blah, blah. Even Will Weaver got a bit shirty in the press conference saying, like, I don't know why people keep saying, as shirty as Will Weaver can get, basically. He was saying, I don't know why people keep saying this, he's a great post player. We don't need to keep mentioning his size all the time.
Even Shane Hill was like in the commentary, was just like, mate, you're only a couple inches taller than me. What you can do.
Too, man, in the post-game interview. I was like, man, Hammer, like, how big are you? I didn't realize you were an absolute weapon at 6'3". You only looked slightly smaller. Maybe that was a little bit of camera trick, a little bit of perspective trick.
How tall is Shane Hill?
I think he's 6'2" or 6'3". He has to be if jae'sean Tate's 6'4". I'm not 100% sure exactly, but he's got to be 6'2" or 6'3". But so I was kind of thinking you're going to Google it. I was kind of thinking... He hasn't come up against any like sublime big man combo that we've got in this league. Like, I was watching the game back.
Mate, he's 6 foot on the dot.
Oh wow, there you go. So it was a bit of a camera trick because he kind of looked pretty sizable up against jae'sean Tate. Did Shane Hill? Like, they went to the huddle, and back to Will Weaver. Like, I noticed the way he coaches is so measured, and little things like. You can obviously do X's and O's things in the huddle and say, right, you got to pick up your man, you got to do this, write out a thing. Like, he was saying things like Froling loves to stick the elbow out on a screen, so make sure you go through the screens every time. And last year we had so many problems going under screens all the time, going under on Casper Ware, like Jerome Randall would always just get torched, like it sucked. But guys were going through screens and he was getting offensive fouls, and I was like, nice, like this is good. Like this guy's actually making calls about the game and going, like, and they're coming off in the game. I think about 2 or 3 plays later, Harry Froling had an offensive foul. I was like, yeah, sweet, this is good to see, good to see. And then a little bit later on, he was sort of talking more about like the hustle where you've got to sort of grab boards and make sure you're underneath the basket, make sure you're boxing your guy out. And that's where kind of Craig Moller had a really good game. I think doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but he was boxing guys out. Kick it again, like a little bit of trouble. And then jae'sean Tate obviously had a fantastic night. Anything else? What else can we talk about during the game? Did anything else happen that interested you? It was our first home game.
First time game, good crowd.
8,000, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Crowd. For a Friday night, I think Sundays and Saturday night games will get bigger. But, you know, this was this ties on to the biggest round.
Was it Friday or was it Saturday?
Friday night game.
Okay, yeah.
After work crowd's always hard. You know, Saturday nights will be bigger. Sunday afternoon games even bigger because you get the family involved. But the NBL first round was the largest NBL round, regular season first round in history. So that's saying something. There's a big resurgence of basketball in this country, obviously spurred on by the Boomers and talent we have over in the US, which is good to see. And the league has stepped up over the last couple of years. It is getting much better.
Yeah, the NBL you're talking about, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quality is definitely there.
The players, I think, are getting a lot better too. Like, teams are getting better. Like, you still look at, you know, the poorer teams really are probably like your Taipans and your Illawarra Hawks. But the Hawks have some promise.
Man, I just like watching Nate Jai bang. He's fun to watch. He's a fun player to watch. Cairns Taipans team. It could come together and be like Loy's a good rookie, DJ Newble's a good player. Machado.
Yep.
I don't know. Like they've just got to click a little bit. Maybe lacking a little bit in depth, but a good starting five. Probably a little bit 2 minutes heavy. Yeah, I see that coming good. Maybe picking a few wins off here and there. But yeah, you can't go past watching jae'sean Tate just dominate in the paint all night.
So that was my point before. Was he's got to come up against some of the better combos in the league, and then we'll see. Like after he breezes through because we've got I think the Breakers twice, and then we start to play like Melbourne and those teams, Perth Wildcats a little bit on that stretch. That's where after that stretch is where you'll see this is how good he is. I think
coming up against someone like Nick Kay and for Melbourne, probably Barlow's not probably going to be that as effective. But Brisbane, Bairstow, Glidden, probably a little bit more of a defensive duo in that sense. That would be tough. So that might be harder matchups to that. Melbourne I don't see actually being as hard.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously without Goulding, they haven't got their sharpshooter.
But even then, I'm just not sold on the Mello Trimble Sean Long combo. I just don't think Sean Long's, he's obviously a great player, a great play finisher, solid. I just think he's just a bit, exploitable maybe is the right word, or, you can exploit the way he plays the game. And I feel like watching the first 2 games that they played, their coach kind of yanked him a couple of times, like, you're all over the place, like, to the bench type of thing. And I don't know how he's going to react to that. Like, I don't think he's someone that, reacts that well. In New Zealand, he basically had the free reign to just do whatever he wanted, played all the minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how they go down the stretch. They're 0-2, so be very interesting. But any other stats we've got here in this game that we can go through? Brad Newley, obviously, 18 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 6 of 7 from 2, 2 of 7 from 3, not too bad. I got a stat, Andy, that's going to blow your mind.
What's that?
He has not gone to the free throw line yet this season.
What?
He has not shot any free throws. How good is that?
Toro.
Yeah. And he's shooting at... Where are we? No, we want raw numbers. 11 of 13 from the field from 2. So 84% from 2. Has not gone to the line yet.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. That's one stat that's going to blow your mind. I did have another one, but now I didn't write it down. I just wrote that one down. That's a fail. But essentially, we shot 48%, 48.1% in this game, 64.1% from two. Like, it's going to be a struggle to beat a team that's putting up 102 points and shooting 64% from the field. But obviously, the three ball, 13 of 40. A few of those were jacked up. Casper Ware, let's call
Casper's jacking a lot of threes up, but you know what? He doesn't take long shot clocks to do it. He does it early in the play, so it's kind of it's not too bad. I don't mind that. It's when you kind of go to this long shot clock ISO and then start jacking up points, and you're just like, yeah, this isn't gonna do anything for us.
So let's talk about him just quickly. Your sort of takeaway from the first two games, because to me, I don't think he's playing that well, really.
No, he's not. He is and he isn't. He's still pestering people, still draws a lot of fouls. So he's getting guys in foul troubles. But yeah, not getting to line a little bit, not hitting the three ball too well, facilitating somewhat. But I think it's still early on in the piece. But he'll come good.
Still sort of betting in. I think I feel like it's still him betting into this team. But you're right. He does take a lot of early shot clock opportunities. If you look at his stats here, so he's 9 from 30 to start the season. 5 of 11 from 2, but 4 of 19 from 3. So the three ball just hasn't dropped, man. He's shooting 21% from 3 to start the season. That's a worry for him. But again, it's something to overcome. Like, it's something to go, right, I got to get better. I got to, start getting on a hot streak, shooting the ball a little bit better. I hope he doesn't affect his ability to shoot the ball. Any other stats in this game? Offensive boards, 12. The other stat that is going to blow your mind is we've already got 20 offensive rebounds in the first two games this season. We're on pace for 560 rebounds, which would double the amount of rebounds we had offensive rebounds we had last season.
That's crazy. That is crazy. We were so bad in that, but that was a David Ware factor. He was trash. So meek. He was just a meek human. 6'8" of meek.
Was he 6'8"? I thought he was 6'11".
Was he 6'11"?
I think he was 6'11".
That's even worse.
Yeah, I know. That makes it
what
worse.
A meek male. What a gamma male. He's not even beta, he's gamma or epsilon or whatever.
Gamma. So any other stats that we got here? Nah. So
let's go on to 3-2-1 MVP.
Yeah, so we're going to bring this out for this season. Sorry, I just got to change the spreadsheet here. Last week we forgot to do it. We're going to do a 3-2-1 this season, where basically we're going to give an MVP at the end of the season based on our 3-2-1 votes. See if it ties into the actual MVP. We'll see how that goes.
We got we got MVP last week, didn't we? We gave our.
No, we didn't. It was after.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but I texted you and then you gave them to me, and I said, "Oh, damn, I didn't read that out. We'll have to say that we're going to do that this year."
Okay. Yeah.
Just bringing it up now. We'll also get to the picks too. After this, we'll do a little bit of a New Zealand Breakers preview for next week, the doubleheader. 3-2-1 MVP. Obviously, you had Lish, Ware, Tate, and I had Lish, Ware, Tate 3-2-1 for last week. This week, I have jae'sean Tate 3 points, Daniel Kickett 2 points, Brad Newley 1 point.
So I've got jae'sean Tate 3 points, Kickett 2 points, and I'm going to go Moller 1 point because I think he definitely owned that one. It was good.
It's harsh too because Newley played really well and he had a game high. But I think the timing of the way Kickett scored his buckets was really important to this team. Like, it was when the starters was off the court, that starters were off the court, that Adelaide really came back. So we had a 22-point lead. They brought it all the way back to 8. But the starters were off the floor and we basically pushed the lead back out to 20. Which is something we didn't do at all last season. Sean Bruce, we got a shout out. He had quite a good game. I think he had 6 dimes in a row, 5 dimes in a row in that little period that basically took the game back away from Adelaide after they'd brought it to 8, which was really good. Kick it, a few dimes to kick it, a couple to Moller. Moller's finishing in traffic was really good, which was good. So, yeah, 3-2-1 MVP. So what are we looking at? Lish has got 3 already. Tate's got 4. Casper Ware's got 2, and that's about it. So early doors for that. Now we should go on to New Zealand preview for next week.
Yep.
This week, Friday and Sunday games.
Friday and Sunday back to back.
What are we looking at for their roster? RJ Hampton plus some guys.
RJ Hampton plus some guys. I think RJ is
Ty Wesley? Is he
Ty Wesley,
Ty?
Shea Ely.
No,
No,
I think
Shea
Ty
Ely's
Wesley went to Phoenix.
yeah, Shea Ely. Is Shea Ely
I
playing
think
there?
it's DJ Newell. No, I'm looking. This time of night, my memory's terrible.
It is. It's I can't
Corey
remember.
Webster. That's who I was thinking of. Like it's
Corey.
weird because Ty Wesley, Corey Webster, DJ Newell all just morph into the one person, even though they play on three different teams. Like it's just that spot on that team. Tom Abercrombie, you see that big dunk over?
Yeah,
Don't even know who it was over, but it was a pretty massive dunk. Jordan Nagatai, he's not too bad. Finn Delaney, Rob Lowe, they've got Rob Lowe. We did munch them in preseason. Of course, RJ Hampton, he's going to be the big one
the
to
big
watch.
big white hope for them. They don't seem to have too much depth in their team, which is a little bit disappointing because they had quite a strong team last year and they were good, competitive, nearly got there. But yeah, this team seems like early on the race is between the Phoenix, Sydney Kings. I'd have to say to some extent,
Perth.
yeah, Perth. Yeah, obviously Perth, but that's about it. It's
And
really up
then
for grabs.
Melbourne will come good. I think. I feel like Melbourne will come good clean into about 14, 15 wins in the fourth position.
Okay.
Considering their pretty bad start to the season.
Yeah,
0-2. I feel like they could just rinse through a few lower teams and then just be back on track again. They've got that pedigree, the championship type DNA in their team.
yeah. Based on the fact that we rinsed them in the preseason, it depends if Bogut plays as well. I think that Bogut doesn't play. Obviously, that's a massive loss. Didi plays, that's a gain. So I don't know what team they're going to take. I'd like to see Didi make his regular season debut on the weekend, and Bogut not playing. I think that they're going to struggle a little bit.
Who's that? The Kings.
Yeah, without Bogut there, I think Jordan Hunter's just not quite there yet on a road trip. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. The other thing, did you watch any of those games overseas?
I watched a couple of highlights.
For the Breakers,
Couple of
no, just the
highlights, yeah.
highlights. Yeah, they look any good against the US teams,
No,
NBA teams. No,
no.
that's all right. Because Melbourne did all right. I remember Melbourne doing all right last year. We did all right against the Clippers last year too in Hawaii.
That's
which
it.
was
That's a
good.
Majok. That's a Majok. He's a
he
good
was
player.
a beast, man. He
Yeah.
played quite well actually in that game, that preseason game. Looked like
Yes.
it was a tough cover, hard to handle.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough. Yeah, quite a bouncy center without Bogut there. So hopefully he makes the plane right. If not, rest up and get ready for Sunday.
Well, Friday's game ones, and then Sunday's away. So we get to tune up in Sydney, and then we go over to New Zealand. So anything else you want to say about that game?
Not really.
Preview sense.
Yeah, preview sense.
Didi makes his debut.
That's pretty much it. That's what I would like to see. I'd like to see Sydney Kings team full strength. So.
Oh, that was a good wrap. Comprehensive.
I mean, it's a lot of unknowns with the Breakers.
Yeah,
because
true. It's their first game of the season.
First game of the season. We haven't seen any of them in the regular season. We haven't seen their. Yeah, they played NBA rules. They're going to get torched. Don't have the athleticism. Don't have the 5-on-5 on a bigger court. It suits longer, leaner, quicker bodies playing 1-on-1, no zone defense. It just doesn't work. So that's why it's going to be a little bit of wait and see on this first game, and that'll give us a bit of a taste of what's to come.
And I think the only game really to go by is when we just smashed them in preseason, and they looked, a bit all over the place. There were sort of rumors that they were fighting. There was infighting in their squad and stuff. They were saying on the stream that they were all yelling at each other and stuff like that. RJ Hampton, I don't know if he has the personality really to, like ball type of thing. I don't know if he has that personality. I think he's a really talented player, a good young player, but he doesn't have like the sort of domineering mentality that didn't really show through in that game against when we played him in.
Maybe it was a bit of preseason, just meh. But this is the real thing now, so it'll be interesting to see how it gets down with the nitty gritty.
No worries. All right, we'll go to predictions now. So the first game up is the Breakers at the Kings.
I
What do
think
you
this
got?
one's the Kings.
Kings. Yeah, I
Definitely
got
the Kings.
Kings. We said last week we're just going to pick the Kings until it just murders us, basically. Then we got the Taipans at the Wildcats.
Wildcats.
Yeah, Wildcats. You have to go Wildcats. I went Wildcats. Bullets at 36s. Tough one.
I'm going to go Bullets.
Yeah, Bullets. Same. I
They
think the Bullets are playing quite well.
they just haven't got quite lucky yet.
They lost against the Phoenix, but the Phoenix look really, really good, man, to be honest. They look like they're well gelled, really good team, which brings us to the Hawks at the Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And then Sunday, Kings at the Breakers.
Kings, obviously.
Kings. Kings for me as well. Wildcats at Melbourne. United.
Ooh, that's the Monday night game, isn't it?
Mm.
Is Golding back? That's the big question.
They still look
No
pretty
Golding,
good,
no.
though. Melbourne looked really good, actually, in Perth. They were kind of unlucky not to lose that game. I watched that game. Unlucky not to lose that. Unlucky to lose that game.
Yeah, unlucky to lose that. I'm going to go Perth.
Perth, yeah. I think, what did I go? Wild. No, I went United, so we'll differ there. I think they're going to get their first win of the season. Oh, actually, they're coming back from NBA, aren't they? Playing NBA.
They have done, yeah. They're playing tomorrow.
Yeah, so they're going to be coming back for that. Ooh. I'll see how they. I'll go with United. Maybe they can eke out their first win of the season, and then 36ers at Hawks.
I'm going to go the Hawks. I got faith.
I went Hawks as well because I think that's going to be their first win of the season against the 36ers, who are just kind of up and coming now. The Hawks, man, watching their first two games. Did you watch? You didn't see the Perth game, where it was like the NB Lamel. Basically, they were just going on about LaMelo Ball the entire time. Putting
it's because a million Americans are watching it on Facebook.
Yeah, putting themselves in the shop. No, fair play. Like you know what I mean.
Exactly. Hey, if we're getting a million people watching any league here, it's pretty good.
Putting them in the show. Isn't it weird though to see Illawarra? Like, it's just weird. It's such a small market team.
Small country town.
Nice spot though. Nice spot.
It was good. Full strength beers. Very good.
Yeah, we got to adopt that. And we've got one game obviously this round to go. Hawks at Taipans. Everyone else can get their picks in. Make sure you get your picks in. Just comment on any post you want to play in the prediction game. We've got until I think about round 5, which is when I'll be like, nah, no more, because we can't just keep giving people freebies entering the league. I texted you basically, I can't believe somebody picked the Hawks and ended up being you who picked the Hawks against the Wildcats. I thought it was somebody else, but it was you.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, whatever. I think that's about it for this week's episode. What have we got coming up? Just these games on the weekend. We'll come back probably
Monday
after
night,
Sunday, maybe Monday night. Yep.
Yeah, Monday night, and wrap the round. Talk some more gibberish.
I think we got knock those two games over in 4-0. Anything, the sky's the limit, really. Like the confidence we'll take from those games, the sky's really the limit. We've got some tough games sort of coming up in that little stretch of about 5 or 6 games there with Perth and Melbourne and Phoenix as well. Phoenix will be interesting because they look good, man. Early doors, they look really, really good.
Playing heavy minutes though. Mitch Creek's playing heavy minutes. 34 minutes.
Oh, 34 minutes. Oh.
Heavy.
He's looking really good, actually. Their team just looks really good. So.
Does.
All right, like, share, and subscribe down here, across there. We're on Patreon too, if you feel like giving us some Patreon money to fund our podcast network thing that we're trying to get stats and all that stuff. Thank you, everyone, for listening to on YouTube and for participating in the predictions game and the over-under game. Like, share, and subscribe. And Andy, you do the honors of we will see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time on the King's Dime.
Dun, dun. Take it easy, everyone.